Hey, welcome in, folks. Oh, one sec. Let me change my background. Just realized I still have my D&D background up. There we go. Now we're in the long dark. So my Sunday night D&D game finished a little bit early. I figured I'd do a short stream tonight. Hang out with y'all. The wind's still gusting. Okay, we are short on feathers, I think.
Man, this pack is getting kind of heavy.
18 arrows. $143, do 33.
I wonder if I can drop any of this gear. Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. We have to see if the bear shows up on the lake. I think that's probably a wolf we shot earlier. Another one out there. Okay. Do we see a bear? Oh, I do see a bear out there.
Gotta warm up somehow.
I didn't die. It's a good shot though.
Do I? It's uncomfortably close. So we get a spot where we can target the bear. Okay, there we go.
I got you, buddy. Nope. Okay, we got him. That's a hit. No, you just have to go to a fishing hut. Camp out for a while. Oof. Now to wait for the bear to die.
One little fire.
The wolf we shot should be dead now.
It's getting dark out here. Time to look for shelter.
Okay, so let's see. We have 17 wolves. One of them is down. That's number 5 to our list. We're at 148. And the bear, we're still at 2, so we're waiting. $16. Hey, welcome in, Hyperman. Oh, hey, big raid. Welcome in, Raiders. I am Babbage and Eater. Let's give a shout out to Hyperman. Yeah, I saw that you were streaming earlier. I thought, wow, I guess people are streaming Sunday night.
Oh my god, it's all over me!
Yeah, you move! I'll take a pound.
50 plus 35 should be 85 points. Let's do our tally again. We should have... We're doing a... we're participating in the tournament Furry Then Silence in the Interloper division. And so that's kind of a brief summary of the rules and restrictions. And then there's a full description in the link. This is not my best attempt, My best attempt ended disastrously on day 46. We almost made it to the end. I made the mistake on day 45 to hunt the cougar in Ash Canyon, and I thought I had a better position than I did. And it turned out there was a path to get to me, and the cougar did find it, and he severely injured me, and I did not have enough bandages or birch bark to make it through a night, and I died in my sleep, which was terrible. This one is a product of many rounds of bad luck in terms of not finding the right saplings at the right times. And so we had a very slow start, and so we're just getting our hunting in, but it took us a long time to get foraged, so we are behind the curve on this one. So let's see. So 130, 42, 43. Is that right? So 130. Oh yeah, this should be 148. Yeah. Yeah, so that's where we're at. And meanwhile, the blizzard just, I don't know if that means we lose our bear or not. It's going. We got a late start tonight. I'm normally not on Sunday nights, but my D&D session ended early. Now I'm playing in a game that's being run by a friend of mine, and it was actually kind of funny. We're supposed to be escorting this NPC who, as it turns out, has ties to the very fallen noble family that whose crypt we're exploring, and is basically tied to a family of necromancers. He's a paladin. He's been trying to go a different direction, but his family is necromancers. And so we kind of unraveled that little secret when we found a flame skull that was the crypt guardian, and my character, who's a bard, decides to interrogate the flame guardian, or the crypt guardian, the flame skull, and who had informed us that it will not let any unauthorized entrance into the crypt. Only those who are true heirs are allowed to enter, and their guests. And so I said, could you identify? How do you know that there's a true heir or not? Is there some way that you identify them? Like, for example, could you scan our party and tell us if one of us is a true heir? You know, having my suspicions about the paladin NPC. And sure enough, much to the NPC's chagrin, he's identified as the true heir. And we didn't have to have the fight. He very reluctantly accepted that he is the living heir, and we don't actually need to kill all the undead. But we can just get a pass and walk through. Yeah, so that was very anticlimactic ending to what could have been a slog through a crypt. There's a number of good diplomacy rolls, though. But as for this, yeah, let's do a little. So who am I? I'm a writer. I'm also a TLD player. I'm a former computer games programmer, and most recently, I just, as of Thursday, walked the stage, crossed the stage to get my diploma as a Master's of Library and Information Studies. So I'm a professional librarian now. Well, hopefully. I mean, it comes with a title, but not a job. So I am currently job seeking. I had an interview on Friday, which I think went okay. Could have been better, but wasn't terrible. So we'll wait and see. We have a couple weeks to find out what's happening with that one. But yeah. As you can see, poor Astrid is living in very humble accommodations tonight. Okay. Eating our cattail stalks and sipping our water. Yeah, how was your run, Hyperman? What were you up to? Ooh. You made it 500 days. Well, that's definitely an accomplishment. I have to admit, I have not done a 500-day run yet. I always get bored after about day 100, and I have to come up with challenges for myself to keep going. So, like, I think my longest run so far has been 303 days, and technically that one's still alive. I just finished the challenge I was on. So, yeah, if I want to go and turn that into a 500-day run, I guess I could do that sometime. But yeah, I have problems being motivated unless I'm doing some big challenge. So like for instance, you know, how did I keep up with a 303-day run? It was because I was doing my roll with it challenge, which you can read about here. And that forces you to go to every single region. Yeah. And you don't know how long you're going to stay until you get there. Oh, thankfully the wind has stopped. Has the bear died now? Bear is dead. Okay. Huzzah. Get another bear. And we are on 34. Bear is 25 points, so we are at 173 now. Okay, 173. We're starting to get caught up. I think I may end up doing another roll with it challenge. It's a fun challenge. I mean, it's frustrating, but it's also fun. It took me a long time before I was able to beat it. But having difficult challenges is definitely part of the fun. Is that a wolf? Wolf or deer? I think it's a wolf. Yeah, there you are. Oh, what pretty eyes you have, wolf. I think I spooked him a little too early. Easier to hunt in the daylight, at least for me, usually. Okay, yeah. Take it easy, Hyperman. Get your sleep. Thanks for bringing your crew over.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Yeah, feel free to chime in. Anyone lurking in our chat, feel free to ask me about different things. I love talking about random stuff. You can ask me about The Long Dark. You can ask me about poetry and literature. You can ask me about film. You can ask me about computer games or D&D. Artificial intelligence or 19th century science fiction. All sorts of weird stuff. The poems. Okay, so I'm waiting. I had 2 poems picked up for publication, but unfortunately they are in a long pipeline. So they will not be formally published until the spring, maybe March, April. So, unfortunately, until they are officially published, I can't read them online, because that would be a different form of publication. And when you get poems accepted for literary publication, you basically are guaranteeing them first publication rights. So yeah, but I have now, I think, 2 or 3 other poems that I am happy enough with. I'm ready to send out another packet of stuff and see if I can find a publisher for those. So that's next. I did like some more revision. There was a poem that I spent years working on, trying to figure out the right ending for it, and I mean, it's a difficult subject, and I wanted to get it right, and and for a long time I couldn't really figure out how to get the poem to end. And so about a month ago I sat down with it and I worked on it again. I hadn't looked at it for a long time, and I was able to get it into a much better shape, and I thought I was done. And then yesterday I was getting ready to go to friend's dinner party, in which it was a gathering of a few other writers, and they were inspired by something that I do. I usually host a poetry potluck where people bring food and a poem, and they said they wanted us to bring some poems to read as well. So I was like, okay. I was looking over what to read, and I thought, I'll bring that new old poem, or the old new poem that I just finished working on. And when I went over it again, I was like, you know what? I can make this even better. So I did. And now I actually feel confident that it is done. So I read that, and people liked it. It was good. And more importantly, I felt that it was good. I felt that it finally hit the right note for the ending. So that one I think will probably get published. I just need to find the right place to send it to. And there's a couple other ones that I think are probably going to find homes soon as I send them out. I just have to find the right place. Oops, we don't need that long. We just need maybe 3 hours. So And I think as we go into the new year, I will have more time in my schedule. My work has, let's see, on the 17th of December, I fly back to Saskatchewan, and I think at that point I'll just be working on packing things up back home in Saskatchewan, and so I will probably, I don't know how much streaming I'll get to do, but I might get a little bit of writing done, maybe. But definitely in January, I should get more writing done. Because I won't have a regular, like, hourly job that I have to deal with. But that's its own challenge, right? I mean, hopefully I have enough other things. I have savings for now, but I would like to savings, and I have an editing job that just came in that I could work on like next month. So it just came in, so I will work on it in December. It's funny, it's like my client had told me, he says, I'm going to send you something at the end of November. And I thought he meant like end of November as in, you know, maybe the 25th or something. No, he sends it on the 30th, like late. So I'm like, wow. It is end of November. True enough. But I do think it's, you know, some poems, some things you write about are difficult subjects, you know, especially if it's like related to the death of someone, or some other tragedy that's happened in the family, and you're trying to figure out, how can I write about this that is like emotionally true, is artfully done, is respectful of the people and their stories. Yeah, how do you balance all these things? How do you avoid it turning into something sentimental or something that, you know, doesn't really, it's not like things have to have a happy resolution, but it does need to find an end somehow. And that particular poem is difficult because it's about the death of my brother-in-law. But the poem's really it's about two things. It's about his survival of what should have been a fatal car crash. You know, he and his friends had been traveling through Washington in the dark on the way back to Vancouver, BC, and an elk had leaped out of the darkness in front of them on the road, and they collided with it, and the vehicle collision like left their van completely totaled and mangled, and yet the four of them walked out of it alive with relatively minor injuries like scrapes and cuts, but bruises, but otherwise survived. And then a few months later, my brother-in-law didn't survive, you know, his battle with depression. So yeah, I mean, yeah, my client was not exaggerating about end of November. That's difficult stuff to write about. Yet the story, you know, that idea of like surviving something that almost certainly should have been your end, and then not surviving, just trying to survive, you know. And the elk was the thing that like just I kept coming back to. And so I knew there was something really powerful about this. I just wanted to figure out how to write about it. And I also didn't want it to turn into some sort of, like, it's not like there's some sort of magical solution to this. You know, it's not like grief goes away. It just changes over time. So how do you write about that? Where's our wolf friend? We had a wolf friend out here somewhere.
I'm freezing.
Yeah, so that the thing that happened to my brother-in-law happened, you know, way back in 2009, right? So it's been a number of years, and it took me that long to kind of figure out how to write about it. So I also think sometimes you just need that type of distance, you know, time to go by, distance to happen, before you can really write about stuff. If it's too fresh, it's too much. I say that, but I've also done that where I've written about things that were incredibly fresh and not easy to write about. It makes editing difficult because it's hard to see because you're so emotionally tied into it. Oh. I think I see the bear over there. Let me get our arrow back. So I think this third book has been really hard for me to figure out because, you know, I might know some of the things I want to write about, but I also feel like it's always important to continue to evolve. I'm trying to figure out what is next. How do I challenge myself to go deeper or go in a different direction? Or to rethink my own relationship with language, with poetry, in a way that's not simply gimmicky, but actually is a real attempt to connect again with language in a new way. So, but there's some things that don't change. So like, I feel like there are poems that are very much still in the vein of my first book or even my second book. But there are other things that really, I'm trying to do something very different, and I don't know if it's working at all. Yep, look at him. He's just sleeping. He's not sleeping. Mr. Bear is not going to get up again. Unless this is zombie bear. That would be weird. No zombie bear here. Let's see, we got feathers. Got the arrow. Where's the rest of the feathers? That's all we get, one feather? Well, that's disappointing. I don't think we have enough firewood to... No, not really. So, like, for instance, another thing I've been thinking about trying... I don't know why, but I've been wanting to find a way to write about... I think I've been really interested in medieval descriptions of stars, of astronomical events. Not so much that I want to, like, make it all about that, but I am kind of curious about some of the things that they describe, and the colorful ways they describe things. So, for instance, you know, some early astronomers noticed that there were areas in the night sky where you could see lots of stars, and then other areas where there would be these strange dark spots where there were no stars at all. Just the area seemed completely empty. And so they started to theorize that there were things called dark stars, stars that were either so dim or stars that produced no light whatsoever, but still had a gravitational effect. And so basically what they were looking at were black holes, right? They were kind of, their conjecture, their guesses were basically pointing them towards black holes. And I like the idea of a black hole being a dark star. I mean, one, it sounds like it's totally a badass anime, but, or maybe it's a sci-fi movie, or maybe it's a... Do we want to go after that deer? Not really. We want the wolf. The wolf is worth more. Just don't know where the wolf is anymore. So yeah, dark stars, and then... I'm trying to remember some of the other ones, but it just like descriptions of dark stars, descriptions of other astronomical events. It's kind of an interesting way of looking at the night sky, or looking, well, because I think of stars, and I think of gravity, and I think of the forces of attraction, and the forces of... What are you doing out here? I didn't know they came all the way out in the ice like that. It's weird. Yeah. So, yeah, so, I mean, this is not really original to me, but thinking about the overlap between gravity and, you know, the laws of attraction, the laws of love, you know, in terms of the pull and the repulsion, and how that ties into grief and desire. So, refreshing old language into something new. And then there's some other things I've been thinking about, like certain forms that I want to play with, or certain approaches to writing I want to play with that I haven't tried before. I've wanted to try and experiment with. So like poems that use these parenthetical asides. So like you have the poem, but you also have like sections where there's parentheses that is a second voice that is commenting or expanding or challenging the first dominant voice of the text, as a way to kind of reject or resist or challenge or restore. Yeah. Okay. Midday. I think we're gonna make a few more torches. But I can already see I have this problem, which is like if someone's going to ask me, what is your book about? I'm going to have the same problem I've had with all my books, which is it's about many things and no one thing. And yet it somehow feels like it is a single thing, you know. Which I guess arguably is what you should expect from someone like me who's multiracial and always finds themselves between things. So maybe that's just normal. So, my normal. Okay, so where do we want to go next? And do we take our sapling with us? I think we take our sapling with us. Am I going back to the dam? Am I going to Milton? Oh, I need to go to Pleasant Valley. That's where I need to go. So let's figure that out.
I can't feel my hands.
I think that means we gotta go. Maybe it's worth going to Milton. Or it might be easier now. We go up this direction so we can find the bear over there. Oh, we're hungry but not cold yet. They are taking a beating though. Okay, so there's another wolf. Perfect. 2 wolves.
Wait. It was so cold. Warming up a bit. I wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
That works. Come at me, bro. Come at me, bro. Ah, that was crappy. sometimes I pull back and I mean to let go and it doesn't let go right away, and then I'm suddenly out of luck. The shot is gone. It's because I don't play every day anymore. I just play a few times a week, so muscle memory. Where are you, buddy? Okay, let's do this again. Yep, this time he ran off with it. You know, part of me thinks we should go to Milton just to pick up, well, I don't know. Yeah, we should go this direction. Back to the dam. Winding river. We need to find more torches. And then we got these doubled twigs. Okay, we need to make more torches and heat up some teas. So we're gonna probably go for another half an hour.
Come on, little fire.
Hey, Flightless Rain also coming in. Thanks for the raid. How is your stream tonight?
Minecraft. Can you use meat slapper in a sentence?
Yay.
Sure. I watched Flightless Rain transform from a novice to a meat slapper in just one game. Sparkle emoji. Anything else you'd like to overthink?
Well, we were doing okay tonight. We killed a bear, a few more wolves. I think we need to update our counter again. Where are we at now? 19 wolves down. So 19 wolves, or 2 more wolves are dead. It's another 10 points. 83. We are at 34, and our shots right now, we're kind of batting at 28 out of 47. So a little bit better than 50%. Uh-oh. Oh yeah. Yeah, it totally is a pain. Yeah, I mean, I really think that there's a lot of the story that is really good, but I think anything that deals with the Timberwolves is just a nightmare in story mode. There's so many tedious things.
Sure getting cold. You could eat anything.
Woohoo! 3 stream streak, so you've been hanging out 3 times in a row. Go team. So just before you jumped in with your raid, we were just talking about like my plans for my 3rd book project, my 3rd poetry book, and that manuscript, and the way that some of the poems that are in that manuscript have taken such an incredibly long time to finish. I was talking about a poem that I thought I was done last month working on something, and then yesterday before I went to a kind of a poetry, it was a get together with other poets for dinner, and we were bringing a poem each to share. I was going to bring this poem that I'd been, after a long time, I think I started the poem probably in 2010. So, I mean, that's like 15 years of wrestling with this particular poem. Normally, like, I don't take that long to work on poems. Usually I'm like, sometimes I'm done in one sitting. More often than not, it's like 2 or 3 sittings with something before I'm like really happy with it. But this one was complicated. It was like really difficult subject matter to get. And so it took a long time to figure out how to get the ending right. And so I finally finished it. -6. We had just a little bit more fuel. But I don't think we have enough fuel here. We have 4. Let's just do that. But yeah, it took me such a long time to finish it. but I do feel very happy with it. It was well received when I read it. And I think if I can figure out where to send it, it should have a good likelihood of finding publication soon. I just need to, I need to find the right place to send it, so. And I need to have, I think I have 2 or 3 other poems that I could stick in the same packet and send it out. This wind, man, this is horrible. But yeah, and then other things I've been working on. I do think I need to start going back to my dissertation and just do a big rewrite. Like I had talked about, like I think if I did a rewrite of the subject matter, not even like chapter by chapter, just like take all the source material, take the chapters, rethink the project completely, as produced not for an academic audience, but instead for like an educated reading public, that I could find. I should be able to find I hopefully can find someone interested in publishing that. But it would be fun nonetheless to write the essays on, new essay on Frankenstein, new chapter on Frankenstein, new chapter on Babbage, new chapter on Sherlock Holmes. But also write about some other things that I didn't get around to write about on my dissertation. So.
Not sure I can carry much more.
Okay.
Starvation.
How are we doing with torches right now? Not enough. Oh, you're late. You learned Warhammer. Travel is scary. We are holding it together.
Perfect.
Okay. I think we're still good on water, yeah. Just low on torches.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
Okay. Let's get out of here. So I'm trying to think what I can say here. So let's see. I was on Friday night, right? But I didn't come on Saturday night, last night. So, yeah, so Saturday I went to a dinner party. It was small. It was the host, so there were 2 people hosting,
Carry this load for much longer.
and there was another couple, and there was me. There was another person who was supposed to attend, but had a scheduling conflict and couldn't make it. So it's just the 5 of us. But the food was fantastic. It was all homemade. There was this amazing homemade lasagna, and there was like this incredible dark cocoa and cinnamon cake made from scratch. And there was a great Caesar salad, a great this is oh, how do I describe it? Like barbecued beef, but really good. We ate so much. It was so much food. I brought back a couple slices of the cake, one for me, one for my roommate, and I am saving it, I think, until tomorrow. Ooh. What do we got here? Yeah, roller, I'm usually not on Sunday nights, but my D&D game my online D&D game finished early, and I was like, maybe I will stream tonight after all. Started a little bit later than I usually do, and then we'll probably go for maybe another 10 minutes or so. still need to get some sleep. It's been a long week. The dinner party, last night's dinner party went from 6 p.m. until I didn't get home until 1 in the morning.
Hope nobody needs this anymore.
Ooh, maple syrup. Right, business. But part of the reason why tonight's D&D session ended so early is because we ended up with this diplomatic solution to what could have been a very long and brutal fight. I was telling them earlier, we had been tasked with escorting this young paladin. His father is concerned about his kind of gung-ho nature and always wanting to be on the front lines, always wanting to be proactive, and very concerned about like needing to get into this particular crypt as soon as possible. And we're trying to figure out why, but we get to the crypt, and crypt is part of a castle from a fallen noble family. And it seems curious that the paladin seems to know a fair bit about the family. And we get partway into the crypt when we run into a flame skull, which, if you're familiar with D&D, is a really, really nasty flying magical skull of a wizard who can cast powerful fire magics from a distance and just blast you away. Really, really difficult to encounter. And they're always, they're created to guard things and given very specific instructions and tasks. So, and they're essentially immortal. You can destroy them, but then in 24 hours they will reassemble. So they're really difficult to get rid of. So I was like, my character's a bard and a scholar, and no huge stretch of imagination, right? Compared to my regular life, But anyways, he looks at the situation. He asks the Flame Skull, "This is Crypt Guardian, Master Flame Skull. Who is it that you serve?" And the Flame Skull says, "I serve, the living heirs of, of the line so-and-so, whatever the family line was, right? It's like, I am commanded to protect this place from, anyone that would come to do damage here or to raid the tombs. But I will protect the heir and their guests." And so I said, "How do you know if someone is a true living heir? Is it possible that you can detect their bloodline?" And turns out that the Flame Skull does indeed have that ability. And I said, and because I had suspicions about our paladin, I said, "Can you scan our, those who are assembled here to see if there is indeed a living heir here. And Flameskull scans the party and then, like, moves over to the paladin. And the paladin, very, very embarrassed, reveals that he is, in fact, actually the last of the line of this noble family of necromancers, and he is really not wanting to accept his role within the family. And turns out that the person who stole the sword and has raised this undead army is, in fact, his mother, who's gone off the deep end. And so instead of having to fight a Flameskull in a tight quarters, which would have been like a massacre for us, we were able to negotiate a peaceful resolution that involved no combat whatsoever, and basically the paladin agrees to take on his responsibilities and his identity, at least within the crypt, and officially designates us as guests. And then the more powerful group of clerics and paladins, which is arriving within 24 hours to sweep the crypt, he also designates as guests and tells the Flameskull to hide itself so it can't be detected during that time period, so that they can kind of conceal the fact that he's in charge of the crypt. Yeah. So, anyways, it's kind of a fun resolution. But yeah, it basically saved us, at least an hour of messy combat with the Flameskull and recovery, Okay, so I think we're probably going to wrap up here. And I think, let's see what we have here. Oh, 28 out of 47. About 30 out of 50. So yeah, we're about in the 60% range, I think. 30 out of 50. Oh, yeah, it's 60%. Yeah, exactly. Better than 50%. We have our 19 wolves, 3 bears, 4 deer, 1 rabbit. We've not really hunted rabbits because it's not really that efficient for this particular challenge. Okay. Yeah, we'll remember to read someone else's poem.
Oh, I've never been so hungry in my life.
Can't repair in the dark, of course. Yeah, it is ending a little bit early tonight.
Oh, I'm starving.
Actually, this is usually my target time to finish, and I never quite finish on time. But it's been a long weekend, and I do need to get some rest tonight. Yeah, there's so much that needs to be repaired, but I don't really want to do it right now. Okay. This is where we end day 35. Okay, 183. We're not quite at 200, but we're getting there. Okay, now we're officially saved. Their health is in terrible condition, but that's okay. We'll figure that out. Okay, so let's read something here. Poem from a friend. Okay, maybe we'll do something. This is from my friend Amy Nesku-Matahil from her book Oceanic, published by Copper Canyon Press in 2018. This is, while riding an elephant, I think of unicorns. Periyar National Park, India. The elephant takes me deeper into the bamboo forest, and I start to worry about what other animals might be hiding here. The stalks so thick and clustered and tight walls of green, it makes me wonder about the tiger preserve nearby and how this would make a lovely place to find a dinner date if I were a disgruntled tiger, or if I were a unicorn and needed some peace and privacy. This would definitely be the ideal spot. When I daydream about unicorns, I can't help but think of a little frog in the lower right corner of the famous medieval tapestry, Unicorn in Captivity. That fat and sassy unicorn, almost smiling in repose, while it munches pomegranate seeds fallen from the swollen tree under which it sits. The unicorn seems oblivious to the wily frog in the lower right-hand corner who hides in a bed of violets. And the lesson that this frog teaches me here atop this elephant, deep in this bamboo, is not to panic. Even when so clearly out of place and nothing seems familiar, enjoy the view. There will be plenty of time for delicious and comfortable water spots. That frog doesn't know he will be part of history's most memorable image of the unicorn. He just sits there, enjoying the view. In his wee woolwarp silk and gilt wefts, grateful for the fields of flowered finery. Anyways, so Amy's almost always into the whimsical and the strange and very much into nature. And so, with Amy's work, there's always that turn. I think so often, and it's very easy, and I'm guilty of this too, of feeling that poetry always has to be about loss or grief, and frequently those are the things that move us to write. But Amy's work always reminds me there's also room for love, there's room for joy, there's room for wonder, and whimsy, for humor as well. And so I think that's one of the reasons why I like her work, even if it's very different from my own. I mean, it's not very, very different. It's just different. So there's whimsy in my stuff too, sometimes. Let's see. My father is landscape. I think we'll hold off on that one. What do we want to do? Short, maybe? Good postcard from... Oh, we haven't... do we do operator? I don't know. We'll find something here. Oh, you know what? Let me dig a little deeper here. I think I'd probably find something we haven't read. It's a little bit different. Okay, let's see what we have here. Opening the file. I was looking for like some of these poems that have been published. They're just published not in my books and just individually. Yeah, okay, so here's some of those. No, that's not what I was looking for. Okay, I guess we'll have to settle for something else. One of these days, I'm going to sit down and really sort through this folder of stuff. Okay, we'll just read something else. Clearly, it's taking me too long to figure out where I put that poem. We'll read this one. Okay, this is called Long and comes from my second book of poetry, Babbage's Dream. Let's see. Published by Sundress Publications in 2017. This is called Long, a fundamental type for declaring long integers. As long as possible, the story continues while there is breath in the iron-lunged moon, while the stars inch onward in their slow, unremitting deaths, the night unspooling in the horizon's dark line, while the cicadas call from the edge of the earth, while there is room enough to receive, while there is rain, the parking lots forming oceans, the alleys, rivers, the old lady on the corner in her bed of papers, a cocoon spun out of every breath she exhales, her face rough with words and dates, the photographs of strangers. Tonight, the streets all fold into one, their names meaningless, and here everything fits inside this hole I have carved in my chest, the space where I let the wind sound the strange song that I carry with me, that says everything and nothing about who I am and who I forgot to be. go. So long, is a variable for carrying long integers, really, really large numbers of whole complete numbers, right? No decimals. And so I started to like really think about like what are these, and also playing with long as in longing to pine for, or to yearn for, or to miss something that's gone. And so I kind of blended those two things together, and so that's kind of where long comes from. And then thinking about these type of gestures towards like distance, or things that are wanting or desiring something far away, so things that stretch out seemingly forever, the horizon, the night, the sound of cicadas in the distance, or sort of that figure of the woman who's living on the street in her bed of papers that turns into a cocoon. And if you were pressed up against newsprint after a while, the print does actually transfer to your skin. And so I kind of imagined that, and the way in which our body becomes a text as well. And then the speaker at the end has this hole within him that turns him into an instrument that the wind blows through and turns him into song, which he carries with him. So anyways, that's kind of the idea. So let's wrap up here. Find someone new to braid. Let's see. So even if I'm trying to end at one time, I always end up talking longer, and then we finish later than I planned, but it's okay. Deadpool is doing the tournament. Anyone else want to drop in? Someone I think is doing Interloper. Not Interloper. Okay, so Nagoa Light. We could hang out with Deadpool. We could go to Dalbo the Demon. First survival run, The Long Dark. I think we'll... Oh, Flightless Rain, you guys are already over here, so let's do that. Support someone new. So yeah, let's hang out here. Oh. Yep. Ad running right now, so we'll have to wait for that. Okay, so we'll get this ready. Okay. Okay, we're going to head over there. Apologies that we're in the middle of an ad break for our personal rating is in the middle ad break, but that's okay. See you next time. Most likely Tuesday night. See you then.